right, we are going to do an introduction to our calculator and graphing. The first thing I want you to do is come over here to the y equals. Before we begin entering anything, I want to make sure that you have no plots highlighted. If a plot is highlighted, it would look like this. If it is highlighted, please go over on top of it, hit enter, and make sure it's not highlighted. The next thing I want you to do is cursor through all of your y equals. Sometimes when things are in your backpack, you get some weird symbols and keys that were hit, and that will give you an error message. So first, make sure everything is deleted and cleared. And then we can cursor back up to our y1. We are now going to enter an equation. To enter our equation, we are going to type in negative x squared plus 5x plus 6. Down here is your negative sign. Then we are going to do x. X is right next to that green alpha button. So x, and here's our square. So negative x squared plus 5x, and then plus 6. So here is our equation. Make sure you typed it in. The variable is right next to that green alpha. The first thing I want to do is look at the graph. So over here to the right is the word graph. Now, if your graph doesn't look like mine, the first thing I want you to do is zoom 6 because that should eliminate some of your errors. So in the middle here, it says the word zoom. So zoom, and I just hit enter for number 6, zoom 6. So I'll show you again, zoom 6. And that's going to recenter your graph to a 10 by 10 screen versus zooming in or zooming out, or if anything in your window was set up wrong. The first thing we're going to do is try to find our zeros. So to find your zeros, you're going to go second, trace. So see how here it says calc in blue? So that's where we go second, calc, or second, trace. To find your zero, we're going to go to number 2. Now, another word for zero is an x-intercept. If we're looking for this x-intercept, they want us to be left-bound. Now, the easiest way is to pick a number to the left, and I would exaggerate it. Here is 0. This looks like it's probably around -1. We don't know if it's a whole number or if it's a decimal, but if we know here's 0, here's -1, we can exaggerate and we can say like -5 for sure is to the left. So I'm going to type in -5 for my left bound. Then it wants us, or it's going to show us an arrow up here. And then it wants us a right bound. So here we're at -1. You can exaggerate it. I wouldn't go past this point. But if we're at -1, I exaggerate and maybe say 2. To the right is 2. So what you did is you told the calculator, here's 2 points. And they're telling it to zoom in and focus on the x-intercept between those 2 arrows. For the guess, where it says guess, just hit enter, and you should get your 0. -1, 0 is your x-intercept. Now to get the next one, we're going to go second, trace, and we're going to find 0 again. So I'm going to click number 2. Now for this one, to the left, well, I wouldn't go over by this problem or this intersection point. You don't want to confuse the calculator. So maybe you could just say that 2 is to the left of this point. So I'm going to hit enter, to enter. Then it says to the right. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like it's around 6, so maybe I'll exaggerate and say 9 as my right bound. Hit enter. Then for your guess, just hit enter. And it's going to give you your other x-intercept of 6, 0. The next thing we're going to do is find the max. Our parabola goes up. Here, somewhere here is the max. And you can kind of estimate on where you think it is. So we're going to go back to that same screen, second calc, and you have to choose if it's a min or max. It's the highest point, so it's a maximum, so we're going to hit 4 for max. Now, once again, we can exaggerate. They want us to know here is about where it is. It's off our calculator screen, but if we want to be to the left, well, isn't 0 to the left of this point? So I'm going to hit 0, enter. Then if we want to be to the right, you can probably estimate that maybe 5 or 6, or we know that this is to the right. We found 6 was our point where it came to our x-intercept. So we could always say 6 is to the right. And then we are going to hit enter for our guess. And this gives us our maximum. And we can round 2.5, and then our max is 12.25. So this is our x and this is our y. So that is our ordered pair. Now if you ever need to zoom out or zoom in, you could do zoom. And if you want to do zoom out, I'm going to go zoom 3. And then I'm going to have to hit enter one more time. And that's going to zoom it out, and you can see now your max. You do not have to see the min or max on your screen to calculate it. However, you always have to see the x-intercepts in order to calculate it. If you ever have a funny screen or want to go back to normal, zoom 6 will help you refocus your graph.